What's up, people? Welcome to this episode of the Buy the Hood podcast or webcast because I don't know how you're consuming this content. I'm your host as always. My name is Jimmy, and as we start off every show, that's with gratitude. I've got to say thank you to everyone and anyone who supports anything we do. Special shout out to all the students from Buy the Hood University, as well as all the youth from the Buy the Hood ownership camp. If you're watching this the day it drops, which you should be, let's face it, which will be June 22nd, will be the day this episode drops. This is the last day to register for our summer camp this year. It's 6 Saturdays. The website is right there, buythehoodcamp.com for those watching the video. For those listening on the audio, that's buythehoodcamp.com. And for those who may be listening for the first time, this is our free finance camp for the youth ages 5 and up. We do this every summer. It's buythehoodcamp.com. It is virtual this year. So doesn't matter where you are across the country, you can have the youth participate. Parents are also welcome, but it's buythehoodcamp.com. And June 22nd is the official last day to register because we have a lot of people registered. So we want to make sure we can service these folks the best. Also, shout out to everyone from Better Than Success, as well as Philadelphia Real Estate Week, who helped us organize this year's camp and are sponsoring this year's camp fiscally. So we want to definitely give them a shout out and say thank you because we want to make sure that we continue to keep this free for the community and also, teach our next leaders as they come up, man. So I just want to say thank you for everybody for all your support of Buy the Hood Camp. But today is the last day to register. I'm joined by my partner in crime as always, Cora. What's up, good brother?
What it is, though. Every day above ground's a good day, so let's go get it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And listen, man, you know our show is designed to highlight brothers and sisters who are doing amazing, positive work in the community, who are doing great things. This is a special episode, man. We got our brother with us, man. He's actually been on the podcast before to tell his story, but we got him back on today for a whole different reason, man. This brother is a cryptocurrency analyst. He teaches a class in our private MDC group every Thursday. This is our brother. We respect his opinion so much that we wanted to bring him on because of everything going on in the crypto market. This is our brother, Russell Hughes. What's up with you, good brother?
Oh, man, I'm good. How y'all feeling?
Feeling, man. What it is, though, Russ?
Yeah, you know it's all love, Russ, man. Yeah. I reached out to you because, my phone's been going crazy with everything going on in the crypto market. Funny thing is, my phone's also going crazy with everything going on in the stock market. Then I got people panicking in real estate. Like I got those three things, my phone has been going crazy. But specifically crypto, because the thing about the stock market and real estate is a lot of people have seen it before. But over this last bull run in crypto, a lot of new people got involved. So they haven't been through this before. I know you've been through a couple cycles already, so you're not panicking. But I'm pretty sure you, as being an analyst and also a teacher in this space, people are hitting you with all kinds of questions. Am I right?
Of course.
Yeah. And
they're normally always the same answers.
So let me ask you this question. So let's just back it up. Because in this episode, there's a special episode. We want to call this our crypto update. Maybe every once in a while we'll do this, bring Russ on to talk about update of the market. But I think it's beneficial to add this to the podcast to bring you back on to talk about the market. But what are your overall thoughts on the economy in general and how it's affecting the cryptocurrency market?
Well, how we have to look at it, right, is what's going on now. Is the Federal Reserve putting money into the economy or taking money out? So once we understand that the Federal Reserve or the central banks are taking money out of the economy, equities just suffer anyway. Mm-hmm. And, it puts us in what we call a risk-off environment. And for folks that don't understand what risk on, risk off is, it's based on the VIX or the volatility. Mm-hmm. So we're around 2550 at the VIX yearly average. So we're above that. So that's a risk off environment. So what happens is, folks sell, especially institutions and central banks. Well, we see that's going on with their quantitative tightening, where the Feds are selling assets on their balance sheets. And, we can expect more downtrend, but what I'm doing is I'm showing folks how to short and long, the markets on different platforms so they can hedge against their losses in their portfolio.
Okay. All right. So that's something key right there, right? And I was talking to you before we came on. I said one of the great things, and some of this I actually learned from you. Um, One of the things I learned from you is how to get the bear tokens,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when things are going against you in terms of your holding. So for me, everyone knows I'm Bitcoin. I'm pretty much Bitcoin only. But when
Yeah.
I see anything going against Bitcoin, what Russ told me to do was buy what's called a Bitcoin bear token. And what it does is it protects my investment. So as Bitcoin falls, that is making money, right? So it's kind of a hedge, more or less. I know one of the things that Corey does. Corey trades the down market, as it goes down, with some of the strategies he uses. So yeah, so there's ways to protect your investment. But I'm glad you talked about like what's going on in the overall environment in terms of
Mm-hmm.
being risk off versus risk on. One of the things that's interesting, and I see a lot of people talking about and pointing out, are how crypto and the stock market like run parallel, because there's always been a thought that there are two different asset classes that aren't that are separate from each other, similar to how gold is when it comes to the stock market. But what we're seeing is they're kind of running parallel now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that's going to always be the case, or you think that's just the case right now?
Right now it's going to be the case because the same institutions that are in the stock market, they're in the crypto market, and so it's going to continue to do that.
So
And
it's
it's
the
been
same.
doing that.
It's the
It's
same
literally,
money.
yeah, it's literally been doing that for quite a while.
Yeah.
You know.
So another thing that personally that I want to put out there for the folks that and by the way, anything we say here is not investment advice. It's for informational, educational purposes only. Want to make sure I put that on the record because we are not your financial advisors. We're just having a conversation about the overall market and talking to our brother Russell Hughes, who is again a crypto analyst and one of the smartest guys we know in the space. Um, but Riot and Mara, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those tend to run parallel to Bitcoin. So Ben Short knows, which is also interesting because I own a Leap right now in Riot, but now I'm shorting Riot. So it's like it's weird, right? But the idea is when you study and you have a team around you, you learn how to make money regardless of where the market is going. So a lot of times people say, "Man, the market is crazy. All you guys are losing money," but they have no idea that like a lot of us do better in this kind of environment,
Mm-hmm.
right? Puts tend to pay faster. So another thing that me and you were talking about, I want to get your perspective on is shit coinery, right? And for me, anything that's not Bitcoin is a shit coin, right? So one of the things I was talking about, Russ, and this is from experience. When we go through bear markets in crypto, a lot of let me use the term that everybody sees, the altcoins. A lot of them will go to zero and not come back at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy when the market is in a bull market. Everyone's telling you how great they are because they picked this one that went from here to there. But a lot of times in the bear market, they'll go away altogether. Like, do you see that happening this time the same way it happened last time?
I see it a little. I see it much worse because there's much more money and much more coins in the market now than it was back in 2018.
Mm, okay, so
So
you think this would be even worse in terms of stuff disappearing?
yes, you,
Mm,
you this is the make or break. There, the institutions and governments are going to make sure that most of these shit coins fail, and as they should.
okay, so speak to that. You talked about the government. What's the
Hmm.
government's role in this whole environment in terms of what's happening with crypto?
Like they're working to regulate it, and also they have them and the institutions and the central banks have their coins that they want to survive, and that's what's going to happen, such as USDC, Stella, XLM, or Ripple.
Okay,
Those are really they're actually going to some of them, they're going to survive
okay,
because Ripple is going to be the bridge between cryptocurrency and fiat.
okay,
You'll be able to do both on there. So you honestly, Cardano is going to survive.
mm-hmm,
You know,
okay,
Cardano actually has really, really good technology. It's just that it's been a shitcoin for so long, no one's really paying it any attention.
Yeah. All right. So, but you do believe that there will be a lot of them that just won't survive.
Yes. We have to understand when you look up these tokens, right?
Mm-hmm.
One, you have to make sure that they can do what they say they can do, and 90% can't. It's all theory. It's all theoretical.
Mm-hmm.
And people were buying during the bull run into the theory. Now they're finding out the reality.
Yeah. So one of the things I see is a lot of talk around what's a security and what's not a security, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons why, right? So everybody goes through their phase when you get in crypto, right? You get in your phase where you're taught about Bitcoin, you see how high it is, so you say, well, I missed that boat, let me go grab something else. Everybody goes through that phase. But the more and more I studied, the more I came back to understanding that, like, Bitcoin is different than everything else. One of the primary reasons I came to that conclusion was the idea of what's a security and what's not a security, based upon the technology, also like the decentralization. And when I say decentralization, I know there's a lot of people who are confused about what decentralization means. I'm going to put that on the record, because an institution can own 90% of it. That doesn't mean that it's not decentralized. Decentralized has nothing to do with the ownership. It has to do with the fact that it's rules without a ruler, right? Mm-hmm. So the technology, right? So Bitcoin, the actual chain, right? Big B versus little b, that conversation, with Big B being the network and little b being the currency. So, and not try to get too technical, but the network itself is decentralized regardless of who owns the currency. Going back to my original question, right? My original question was, one of the reasons I'm attracted to Bitcoin is because, to me, it doesn't meet that test of being a security. Ethereum's a little different. Could you see an environment where Ethereum is regulated differently because it's considered a security?
Yeah, that's actually going to happen.
You think it's going to happen?
Yes. I've read a report, a Bloomberg Intelligence report on their plans for Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Okay.
So they look at Ethereum from a tech company standpoint. So they were going over all of their finances, and they're doing pretty well, because the fees are insane.
Yep.
And it's one of the largest. It's the second largest network that's being traded on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going anywhere.
No, I agree with that. Right. So even though I am someone who's like 100% Bitcoin, I understand that Ethereum is not going anywhere. I'd always wondered if it was a tech company as opposed to put under the crypto box, what would the valuation be? I always wondered that.
They actually gave Ethereum an evaluation of 6,000. Like literally, that's what they said it was worth after breaking down all the finances, because we normally don't get to see that. We don't get to see how much money these companies are making.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, right? Considering what it's trading for right now.
Oh, yeah. So the price should be 6,000. You mean?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I never trust that, right? Because value dependent upon what, right?
Well, I mean, maybe I just want to make sure you guys are talking about the same thing. Russ said that the Bloomberg Intelligence report was breaking it down as if it was a tech company, and if it was a tech company,
and that the price should be 6,000.
Okay. And you're saying you don't trust it because what?
I don't trust the formulas that they use, right? The math is math, right? The numbers will add up if you put, depending upon what numbers you put in there and what variables you put in there.
Mm-hmm.
But it all depends on what valuation you give it, right?
He said they're using income.
Just big income based. Just income based.
Yeah,
I can see that as just on income based, then yeah. If it's just income based, then yeah. But I mean, the technology is far inferior to some of the newer tokens out there. Like it's an inferior product.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends upon how you argue that, right? Because network effect.
It has the network effect, but it's also trying to get rid of that network effect by going from proof of work to proof of stake.
To me, that to me, I don't like
That's
that.
Stupid.
I don't like that.
I agree with that. But what I will say is the network is so huge and so many things run on it. Like it's to the point now where you have other crypto companies that run on Ethereum that are like, $1 million companies themselves. So, and this isn't an argument for Ethereum because I don't care about it one way or the other. But I think that it's interesting to say that it can be treated like a security in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think that'll be something interesting to watch out for. So let me ask you this, Russ. You have clients that come to you and they're looking for your help now. You already said they're calling you panicking. What advice do you give to the people calling you now as they watch this market just tumble and tumble?
Understand where we're at, in the cycle, because this, and this is my opinion. I view this as going to be one of the biggest bear cycles ever. You understand? Like literally, get your short game ready. That's what I'm saying, because we were here in 2018.
Yes.
Now, and inflation was only on the average of about 3.6%. So they could bring it down and then bring it back up. Now we're at 8.6 and 6% core inflation. They can't print anymore.
Yeah.
No more money can go into the economy. It has to come out. It has to reset so you can what do they say? Build back better.
You said we're going through a cleanse right now?
Yes. Man, we are.
All right. So, man, that's interesting. You said this is going to be one of the biggest bear markets. That's interesting, right? One thing I learned from Diamond Dave, shout out to our brother Diamond Dave. Diamond Dave said the one thing about predicting like bear markets and huge bear markets,
you're going to be right one day.
He said as long as you keep doing it, one day you're going to be right.
Yeah.
Right? So, but this could be the case just based upon the math that you're seeing. But you've been through a cycle before.
Yeah. How
has going through those cycles that you've been through before prepared you for what you're seeing now?
I mean, they repeat. They just repeat. One thing when I seen in 2018 was a lot of people were talking about, that's just a cycle, but it's literally going by the cycle of the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve raised rates 4 times in 2018. Now they're going to do it more this time. Because the economic information is different now than it was then. We're literally having the whole world, like the 90% of the world's economy is overinflated. It has to come down. We've never had that before in history. And we've also never had interest rate rising and quantitative tightening at the same time.
Yeah. The interest rates rising the way they are is insane to me, right? And also, but understand that I've operated in an environment where double-digit interest rates were the norm. So just being being in finance so long, I've seen pretty much a lot of things. I haven't seen this though. Like you are right. There are certain things right now that are just like, a global pandemic, right? Who could have predicted that? But interest rates are interesting because there's a bank on I-95 here in Philadelphia, right? And they have like a digital billboard, and every time you ride by, it gives you what the current interest rate is. So watching that over the last couple months has been crazy as it just creeps up. It got to the point where it started creeping up so bad, they took the whole billboard down. They didn't even want to show it no more. They just removed it and put like nothing there. I said, man, that's crazy. But so this is going to be one of the biggest bear markets. Getting back to that point you said about this bear market, and also how being through it before prepared you. I've told the story several times about my experience in crypto, but one of the great things I did was just dollar cost average Bitcoin, because I rode Bitcoin down, Paul's from 20,000 to 3,800 or whatever it got to the 3,000s in 2018, and I was just buying small amounts every week, small amount. Is that advice that you give your folks today, or do you tell them to hold off? How do you tell them about like acquiring the asset?
If they're gonna dollar cost average anything, I'm only gonna tell folks to dollar average Bitcoin.
Okay.
We know that's not going anywhere.
Yes.
You understand? And seeing, the CEO of Square,
Dorsey.
or was it Twitter? Yeah, Dorsey. Yeah, when he put up all that money for a Bitcoin defense legal fund, I was like, So what happens in bear markets in crypto is infrastructure is being built.
Yep.
And we're seeing that happen right now.
They got to bring the price down so they can build the infrastructure.
Yep.
And then they're going to send the price shooting once the infrastructure is built, because now they can take advantage of the people coming into the infrastructure. So this is exactly the same thing that happened the last time.
Yeah, that's interesting, Russ, because someone else said that too. A guy I was talking to in Silicon Valley, he said all the great minds are going to work at crypto companies.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, so his logic was, I'm betting on crypto because I see where all the brains are going. All the brains that come from MIT, all those people, they're not going to the social media companies anymore. They're going to the crypto companies. So he doesn't even care about price. He's looking at, when you put those minds together to solve problems, eventually they're going to figure things out, because that's kind of where they're going. But Corey's right too, in terms of like building infrastructure when the price is down. So that's also something to look out for. It's what's being built during this cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So these are interesting times though. Like, what your personal approach is to get your shorts together, but are you still acquiring right now?
Yeah, I'm always acquiring Bitcoin. I cut off buying altcoins in like January.
Okay.
Because seeing what Bitcoin was doing, I automatically understood the altcoins were going to be worse.
Okay. Always.
Yeah, like you said, people are panicking. They're panic selling.
Mm-hmm.
And we can just put this stuff on a chart and see what's going on.
Yeah. One of the things that I see playing out, in like coming from my real estate experience, is that a lot of times it seems like things have to flush out for it to get higher, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when in the real estate market, when you go into a quote unquote bear market, things go bear just so they can come back and go even higher than before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that is part of this process? Like when we come out of this and we start to rise again, will it go even higher than before?
Yeah, like I said, I totally believe you're going to have a great reset to build back better.
To build back better.
I got that from Biden.
Yeah, Biden. Yeah, build back better. You got to build back better. Yeah. Yeah, man. All right, that's man. Corey, you got some questions, good brother?
Yeah. So me and you were looking at some economic information during one of the classes that you were putting out, and we were just looking at the currency of all these other countries, as we were doing some studies on crypto. And some of the observations we had were astounding, like super astounding. So one of those observations is that the dollar is rising while inflation is going on, and in these other countries is not doing the same thing as at the same speed. So what can you tell us about that observation that doesn't go 45 minutes left?
Okay. What's going on? You have what's called a currency peg. You have like 68 or 65 countries pegged to the US dollar. So they're all going. There's 68 currencies and 18 major ones that are 14 that are pegged to the US dollar. So whatever the US dollar is going to do, and the euro, it's basically what the majority of the currencies will do. They're going to follow.
Pretty simple stuff. So
yeah.
If you're into the foreign exchange markets, that's something that you can get yourself into. Just that's not investment advice. That's just observation.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah, volatility's up now too. So the forex market will actually move now.
So I don't like to ask people their predictions on numbers and things like that though. But I do have to ask, because you're here. A bottom. what do you see as the bottom? And I don't even care about the rest. I would just talk about the two big boys because, I mean, however they go, everything else goes. Really, however Bitcoin goes, everything goes.
Yeah.
But I had the other one in there too. So, what do you see as the bottom?
Ooh, that's a tough question. That's a tough question. I'll use charts on this one. On the monthly, we're looking at this. There really hasn't been any resistance. There's no resistance really until about about 8,000.
About $8,000, and that's for Bitcoin.
Yes. I haven't really checked anything else.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to say is this 20,000 range is a resistance range, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this was the high from the previous high, and so this is an area where people will start to buy in to defend. But once it goes, it's just gonna go.
So this 20 you're calling a resistance, is that like on a monthly chart or
that's just it's the resistance because it was the high from the last time we went when we shot up.
Okay.
So remember in 2017, early 2018, we shot up to 20K.
Yeah.
And so that was our
I'm with you. So
I got you. High on the last cycle.
So people are defending that previous high from that last the bull run rather. At the 20K. I got you.
That last bull run.
So you're saying that once it cracks this and
it's gonna go.
It has went down, but it hasn't stayed down.
Yeah.
20,000 is a mental number for folks. So it's 10,000.
That's true.
And that's what I've noticed, that it's hovering around 20,000. Like you said, if it falls below that, it stays below it,
it's gone.
Yeah.
One of the great things about Bitcoin and how it was created from a technological standpoint is that the difficulty adjustment. So the miners, right, have to spend electricity to mine Bitcoin, and at some point when the price drops, people always come to me like, well, it's not going to be worth it because the price dropped. But the difficulty adjustment drops too, which is already built into the technology, which makes it amazing in my opinion, which is why you'll always have those miners because of that difficulty adjustment dropping.
Yeah. But most people don't understand the technology. And so they'll just, they talking without having read anything or been through a cycle or been, you know what I mean? So they just talking.
Yeah.
And I mean, like these people, these 80-year-old men, they don't understand the technology of Bitcoin. They understand. All they know is that Bitcoin is a threat to the way currency is currently, and that's why, and that's another reason why they're trying to drag the number down, is because a lot of these quote unquote third world countries are going to the Bitcoin standard to get away from what the current economic cycles. And so what they want to do is try to punish those countries and try to make them pay in other currencies, because their currency is being devalued against the dollar.
Yeah.
Listen.
So that's another reason why they're trying to.
It's like economic war going on, and we don't even recognize it, huh?
Yeah. So that's what they're trying to do is keep other countries from going on to the Bitcoin standard. But what they don't understand is that by bringing the price down, that would actually, for me as a country, that would make me go toward it.
Yeah.
If I'm a country, that's what I would run toward it full speed.
Yeah, but the problem is the mental, right? I get your point, but most people, all right, because again, media is powerful, right? So just take a look at. I was looking at what's going on in Marcy Projects, and they said that Jay-Z and Jack Dorsey put together that class, taught by the Black Bitcoin billionaires. Shout out to Naja too, who's been on our podcast, but they put together that class, and it's resistance against it because, and when you hear the people talk about the resistance, they don't want the class, is because all they see is the news and the current drop. That's all they talk about. It's dropping. Why are you teaching us about this when it's dropping? Not looking at the big picture. What you're talking about is a big picture approach, right? If you're a country and you see this, but the people in the country, all they see is when they look at the news or the media is this thing was 60 and now it's 20. That's all they see. They don't see anything beyond that,
2/3 of his value.
yeah. So media is very powerful, but that's where having this understanding, which is why I wanted to bring Russ on to have this conversation because he got the knowledge. And I want to ask you about that too, Russ. But you get ready to say something, Russ?
Yeah, how I'm looking at it is, we're taught to buy low, sell high, right?
But nobody does it.
No one. Everyone, most people buy high and sell low. So I believe for those people, they kind of need a mindset class and an understanding of what it is, and what we know is the media is always lying. I'm always, whatever the media says go long, I'm short. If they say go short, I'm going long. Because these institutions aren't going to tell you their real plans.
Mm-hmm.
They'll give you little clues, but they're not going to tell it. So,
they'll tell you their plans. They just won't say it. They'll tell you about what they do. You can't watch what they say. You got to just watch. Yeah. They'll tell you their plans by what they do. This is the same thing I said in the last market. I've been all the stuff that we're talking about now. I talked about in the last cycle. Mm-hmm. Building infrastructure, right? Wherever you see infrastructure being built, that's where money's going to go. That's just plain math, right? Like if I'm building something, I want people to go there. And then we're talking about liars, right? Yeah. JP Morgan and all of those other countries, they said Bitcoin was worthless. And now it's their asset class that they'll be going to outside of regular stocks and bonds. They replaced real estate with Bitcoin as a class. So what do that tell you about what's really going on? Those companies ain't in business to lose money. They're not going to lose money. If you haven't read any books about banking, one thing you will know for sure is that JP Morgan is not going out of business and they're not losing. They will crash the economies of every country around the world.
Well, first off, the first clue is the organization is called JP Morgan, right? JP Morgan ain't been alive in 100 years, but let alone like they still out here getting to it.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said that, Core, because one of the plays that I personally was trying to make is I was looking at picks and shovels, right? And shout out to the Ivy investor, right? She was telling me about this company a while ago, which is like Silvergate.
Yep.
And I'm waiting for Silvergate to drop with everything because they are the quote unquote bank of crypto. And I'm like, I want to gobble that up. Again, not investment advice. They will not like stay below 60. Like they're not dropping at all. And the thing about crypto is a lot of people in crypto are like anti-bank, right? And I understand why. Become your own bank, that whole idea. But one of the things I understand about studying is what Corey just said, which is powerful when you think about it. The banks run this country. Every industry that you look at, whether we're talking about politics, whether we're talking about farming, whether we're talking about real estate, whether we're talking about crypto,
you gotta go through a bank.
You got to go through a bank. The banks have their hands in everything. They're not going to fail, which is why they've always been one of my best investments. Is like especially my ETF, like just buy the banks, right? But watching this is going to be very interesting because one thing I'm looking at, Russ, and you talk about this, is like looking at what people do during these bear markets. I'm watching the banks. I want to see what the banks are doing. Are they net buyers? Like what are they doing in this space? Because to Corey's point, they run everything, right? Mm-hmm. So is that something that you like really watch at when you talk about institutions in terms of what they do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to. In order to understand, they're the big money. Mm-hmm. So you have to be able to follow big money and what they do, not basically what they say. So they're like here in Texas, right? You can literally, they have banks. It's illegal for banks to sell crypto. So I don't suggest that, but that's something that can be done. This is the takeover to me. They're working to take it over. Everyone sells off. Guess what? They can buy it all up.
Yeah, and then they can charge you a premium to get involved in the game. Yep. Whereas right now, you're not getting charged that premium. Mm-hmm. And that's why they want it regulated, right? They want to get it so they can regulate it and then charge you a premium to get involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
And most people just fall in line with that. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what about the old prevailing thought that Binance, Coinbase, they will become the new JP Morgans, the new Wells Fargo's, the new
That's
banks?
never going to happen.
No,
now, could you see them getting acquired by one of the big boys?
I'm looking at Circle.
Okay.
And USDC, because that's what's being pushed right now. Do you like you said, Corey? All the stable coins are being destroyed.
They're being attacked.
This
is another thing I've been saying since the last run. You have to destabilize. You have to destabilize those stable coins, because if you don't destabilize the stable coins, then banks don't make sense.
If I'm not mistaken, though, USDC was a joint partnership, wasn't it, between Coinbase and Goldman Sachs?
Mm-hmm.
So Goldman Sachs,
Circle was that was years ago. But my thing is this, right? What they're trying to do is destabilize the ones that are pegged to coins, or to or have their own chains. They want to destabilize those, and they only want you to use the bank one, which is the USDC. Because
my point was the USDC, Goldman Sachs already owns part of that. Circle, right?
And JP Morgan, they all do.
Yeah.
All the venture capital, that's where all the venture capital is at.
Yeah, but my thing is that the ones that that are pegged to other things, they're easy to destabilize anyway. Like, that's why they were jokes to begin with.
Yeah,
like everyone's been saying that it's a joke to begin with. I mean, that was
But what I was saying is that's where they was going to start the attack, and that's exactly where they started the attack. Because you can't attack Bitcoin per se, right? You can only attack the price action. But with these stable coins, you can attack them specifically. You can attack the companies, you can attack the coins, you can attack all of that stuff. That's what I was trying to say from the beginning.
Well, no, but think about it. What you're saying, right? And Russ weighing on this too. That's also what separates Bitcoin from everything else. You can attack any of those things that way.
Exactly.
Right? Outside of Bitcoin, everything else can be attacked that way.
But that's the point that I was trying to make when they started the attack. That's where they were going to start the attack, because stable coins are a threat to the banking system. Period. Like, you can't have these coins with the volatility that they have a stable component to them, because if they have a stable component where people can make money, then there's no reason to have a bank. There's none.
Listen, I read Confessions of an Economic Hitman, both parts.
As did I.
And one of the things I understand is just having a founder or owner
puts you in danger.
Puts you in danger, right? So another reason why, when people say, well, look at the team behind this. Well, once you show me who the team is behind this, I
know who in danger.
Yeah. Listen. If they have a team, a CEO, that means the government can just walk in.
That's my point. That's my point, Russ. That's my point.
Do whatever.
Because my thing is, if you put somebody's freedom on the line, or you say, if you do blah blah blah, we gonna shut you down, or we gonna attack your freedom. That means that whatever that company is, or whatever that thing is, that's in danger. Yeah. Because the government has on his resume, will bomb the hell out you. We will run down on you and kill you. Like, our government has that on their resume. And so when the government says we coming to get it, people got to listen.
For the folks listening or watching, right? That's a book recommendation for you. Confessions of an Economic Hitman.
Part 1 and 2.
When you read that, you understand the lengths that the powers that be are willing to go to. There's a Netflix documentary, right? It's called The Web of Make-Believe. It's a new series. But one of the things I found interesting, to Corey's point, one of the episodes is about this guy who was he was one of the most successful hackers of all time. Dude was making close to $10 million a year, scamming the IRS and a bunch of different people. He's a scam artist. And they caught on to him because one of the message boards or something he was running on, the government got control of. Make a long story short, they tracked him down. And this dude has been scamming the government and everything for years. As soon as they start threatening him with them jail numbers, my man became an employee and helped them lock up a bunch of other scammers. But it was to Corey's point, right? So who's in danger if you have a face that you can put to something. This is in terms of crypto. When people start talking about the teams behind projects, or this person's the CEO, or this person's the founder, that's a pain point. You know what I'm saying? So just be aware of that when people start to like bring new projects to you. Let me ask you this question, because you have people bringing you projects all the time. Has that slowed down?
Yep. Of course it has. Because, like you said, people are in fear. And that's just, and I tell folks don't buy altcoins now.
Okay.
Because the next time this market drops, you might buy a coin at 20 cents, and once the market drops, it's below zero.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people do. They come into the space and they're chasing, I don't know how many people have brought things in front of me and they say, all I need to do is hit a penny. That's like always their go-to. All I need to do is hit a penny. Problem is, it never does. Back
during the bull run, folks used to always tell me Shiba Inu is going to a penny, and I'm like, it can't do that. You would literally have to take all the money out of crypto.
The math doesn't add up.
It doesn't. No,
you can't. Like anybody who says that can't do math, right? So you need to just at that point you just tune them out because they can't do math. Because you got to look at the total market cap of crypto, and then you got to look at how many coins Shiba Inu has, and then they got 400 trillion tokens. So if it goes to a penny, then that would mean the market cap of crypto would be at least 400 and something trillion. You know what I mean? Like $4 trillion.
Yeah.
Like that by itself would be bigger than the whole market cap of crypto. That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like when you got Bitcoin. And then you got all of these other coins, and then you telling me one coin is going to be bigger than the whole market cap of all the other coins, and you telling me that coin is not Bitcoin? That doesn't make sense. Yeah. It doesn't make any one good bit of sense.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I just tune those people out because they can't count.
Yeah. Even for something, it had no use case. Like
people telling me Dogecoin. People telling me that Dogecoin going to be the next Bitcoin and all this other stuff. It's like, are you serious? Like, all right. I mean, Dogecoin has some small minor use cases, but it's not.
Yeah.
It got a CEO.
Russ. Well, I don't know who the CEO of Dogecoin is, but yeah, Corey must got some info we don't got. But no, listen though, Russ. Let me ask you this question. In terms of someone who's never got into the space, right? They haven't got into it. Is this a good time for someone to get started?
This is a good time for education. You understand? This is the time to learn. You now have time to get educated, to learn, to make the correct decisions.
Don't take too much time though, because the halving is in 2024.
I mean, when I say time, I'm talking about a month, 2-3 months.
No, Corey, another good point, Corey. Because let me ask Russ about that too, right? Mm-hmm. The halvening, right? In terms of Bitcoin, when Bitcoin's next halvening is, I think May of 2024, maybe the date,
something like that,
somewhere around there. Is that the date that you're looking towards to see where the price action is around the halvening?
Yep. And if we hear the Federal Reserve say we're lowering rates, you go all in. You go all in because now they're about to shoot this thing to the moon.
Interesting.
So I'll actually I can go over that on Thursday how to see that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So for those that don't know, Russ teaches a crypto class every Thursday in our private group, for MDC private group. If you're interested in that, the link for that will be in the description. But Russ is a wealth of knowledge. He comes on every week and he has all sorts of different things for us to look at within the crypto space. And to his point, right now is a great time to learn. Russ, do you have any favorite crypto or Bitcoin books that you may have read?
You know what? I really don't read a lot of books, except Mastering Bitcoin. That's pretty much it.
Okay, that was a good one.
Yes.
Core, how about you? For someone looking to learn, somewhere where to start.
The two books that we always talk about, Mastering Bitcoin and the Bitcoin Standard.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you said Confessions of an Economic Hitman. The other book that on the other side of that you need to read is The Creature from Jekyll Island, right? So like it'll give you a whole look at how these systems work together and come together, right? Because most people don't read, so they don't have any clue about what's going on.
Good thing is a lot of those books you talk about, I don't think all of them. I don't think Economic Hitman may not be, but I know that a lot of them, other ones are on Audible. So for people that like may not want to be able to read, you can get the audio book. But this episode, this conversation with Russ, we didn't give you some reading material, right? So Russ mentioned Mastering Bitcoin. I agree with Corey. I think the best crypto book there is the Bitcoin Standard. So that's 2. Confessions of an Economic Hitman, which is 2 parts. Creature from Jekyll Island. Add that to it as well. Bitcoin in Black America, I would add that to it as well.
Always gotta add
that. Man, yeah, I have that. Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah, so there's about a good 5 books right there to get you started in terms of studying. Yeah. But also, hit us up if you're looking to learn from Russ or any of us. But this is a great conversation, Russ. I want you to leave the people with something like, so you said it's a good time for people to learn, get into the space. But if someone calls you panicking today, right? They're like, Russ, I lost, $50,000. I don't know what to do. What advice, because I know this is, what's on my phone, what's on your phone. What advice do you give someone who calls you right now, today, and says, Russ, I need help? What's the first piece of advice you give?
We're gonna look at these charts first. You understand? And then what I always tell people is just to go to Crypto Panic, right? Put in Ethereum. Okay. You don't even have to read the articles. You understand? All you have to do is just look at the titles and see if this is bullish or bearish.
You said Crypto Panic?
Crypto Panic.
Yes.
Oh, that's the website, cryptopanic.com?
Yes. Yes. It's a crypto news site.
Okay.
And so just look at the titles, the articles. Are they bullish? Are they bearish? That it creates sentiment.
Okay.
It will, let you know what to do. Like I've done that with like 50 people, and they were like, wow.
No, listen. The reason I like Russ and like bring him on to have these conversations is because he dumbs things down for me in a way where it's like, oh, that's simple. Like when we're in the bull market, Russ showed me a way to make money, and I was like, oh, he was like, yo, go to KuCoin, look at what's trending. All right, grab some of that. He's like, and then sell it before the day is out. And I was like, that was too simple, but it works.
Yeah.
Like Russ dumbs things down for me in a way that I could understand, like, because I need that in my life.
Yeah, because man, I be reading all this difficult stuff. I'll be like, man, how can I explain this to someone?
Yeah. So that's another one right there. Go to Crypto Panic and see the sentiment based on the articles, and you can see where the market is heading, right? Because it's all emotional.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have to look at the crypto fear index is around 7 or 8.
And that's like completely red, right?
Yes. Like I think the lowest is 0, so the highest is 100. So
sheesh.
Damn.
So the lowest is 0, the highest is 100, and we're at 7.
Yeah. So
say less.
It's literally telling you what's going on, but folks that have been in crypto, we're emotional. We're like, man, it's going to the moon.
Yeah. And that's a good point, right? Because Pastor made a point earlier in our Discord. Because right now, as we're recording this, the market was up. And he was like, keep in mind the overall trend. Don't get caught, chasing, because the overall trend is still going the other way. Right? And I know Corey. If I know Corey, like where I think I know Corey, he's sitting on some puts right now.
I am sitting in heavy ass shorts right now, bro. As the market is going up, I am grabbing more puts. I am grabbing them jaws. Every 5% the market go up, I grab some more. They go down. I'm with all of that chicken.
Listen, man, I literally day trade to hedge against. I day traded today just to hedge against my puts that were getting killed. So they can go to 0 now, and I'll be fine.
Yeah, see, this is what happens when you know how to navigate the market. Did you just say, Corey? So he had puts that were doing bad, so he hedged against them, and now he covered that.
I got a call hedge too. I always put 1/3 of my position in the call. I got 1/3 of my position in the call, John. So that right there is running.
All right, so y'all getting a little too advanced for this convo. But with that being said, everybody out there, I just wanted to bring Russ on to have a conversation about the market. I'm going to put Russ's Instagram and everything within the description box. So if you want to reach out to him, ask him a question, go check out his page. He's we finally got Russ to move over to IG because because Facebook keep blocking him. They keep throwing him in jail. So hashtag free Russ. Hashtag free Russ. So now he's over IG, building up his IG page. So make sure you give Russ a follow on IG.
Yeah, there's some really good videos, man. I even did a video on how I became a better trader just by loving myself more.
Nice.
I gotta go watch that one. I was trying to get Russ to get on TikTok, man.
Listen, I'm gonna be on there today, bro.
No dances, but you can still get the information out. But so with that being said, everybody out there, make sure you go follow Russ. He's putting this crypto information on Instagram now. Again, nothing we said here is investment advice, but I know the market is
what we doing,
crazy.
Man.
Yeah,
how we perceive things.
I just want to bring my brother on to have this conversation, and to give out some jewels. We gave you a quick book list we gave you throughout this conversation, so make sure you take heed to that. Hit us up if you have any questions. Corey, you got any last thoughts for the brother?
Nah, man. Russ is my guy. So, me and Russ have a lot of conversations. This is how we come to the conclusions that we come, because he's looking at the market, I'm looking at the market. We and then when we see the same thing, we know what is really hitting for. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So this is great. Y'all get to hear some of what we talk about.
Yeah, for those that don't know, like I said, Russ is in our Discord. He's in our private group. Every Thursday he has a class. And for those that are in the NDC, which is our private membership group, shout out to y'all. We got so much stuff coming to that group. We have part 3 and 4 of our real estate valuation class. We have a real estate valuation class. Dr. Chastity, who's been on the podcast, she's teaching the class every Tuesday. We have Brianna, the Glue Taylor, who we got to get on the podcast as well. She does a class on Wednesdays. Spoon, who's been on the podcast as well, he's doing a cover call class for us, teaches how to run cover calls on our options. We got all kinds of stuff in our back office. It's over 200 and something classes in a vault, and we have live classes every week. So, and Russ is one of our professors there in our private group. So, man, Russ, I just want to say thank you again, good brother. We appreciate your knowledge. We appreciate your time. Look forward to continuously building with you. Look forward to seeing what you got for us this Thursday. Last but not least, I got to say this to the folks out there. Remember, today is June 22nd. It is the last day to register the youth for the Buy the Hood Camp. buythehoodcamp.com. We're looking forward to those sessions with the baby. So when they get the information, when they're 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up, by the time they get our age, they're going to be beasts. So just want to say thank you to everybody for all the support. And we will be back here next week. But make sure you give us some feedback. Hit up Russ. Follow him on IG. Russ, just want to say thank you, good brother. We appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely, man. So for our folks out there watching, as we always say, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much you keep. Game elevates. And we'll see you guys on our next episode. Peace.